3 plus, or 3 times x plus 2, all of that squared, minus 5. We're going to graph it first. Okay, now we're in our favorite form, which is vertex forms, but in order to graph in vertex form, I need to identify a couple things. First is the vertex. My vertex is an x and a y value. What is it? -2, positive 5. Excellent. -2, -5. Okay, so let's graph that first. -2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to label it -2, -5. Okay, next thing I need to find is the LOS. What's the LOS? Line of symmetry. Line of symmetry is x equals what? -2. So let's draw it. And I'm also going to label that x equals -2.
We have to write all that? The vertex?
Yeah, I'd like you to label it. Okay, now I need to look at the A value and decide if my parabola is opening up or down. It's going up, and is this one going to be skinny or wide?
Skinny.
Skinny, because it is a whole number. So let's draw a skinny parabola opening up. Make sure you try and make it symmetrical through that line of symmetry. And then my problem asks me to state the domain and range. So let's find the domain. Domain, what can I plug in for x here?
Everything.
Anything. So our answer is all reals for domain. And we always capitalize the R in reals because it's like the formal name of a set. There's different types of sets. Okay, and then what is the range here? We know range has to deal with the y. Since my parabola is opening up, is it greater than or less than?
Greater.
Greater than or equal to? And what's the y value? -5. So that's my answer. Not too bad, right? Okay, so let's try to do example 2 without graphing and see what we get, and then we'll graph it and see if we're correct. Okay, so example 2, -2, x plus 3 squared, plus what? Plus 0. So we like to just put it in vertex form. What is my vertex here? I take the opposite of inside the parentheses, so that would be -3, and the y is 0, right? So let's just see if we can use the vertex to find the domain and range. So first thing we're looking for is domain. Now, let's just double check because eventually we're going to get to a point where this is not always going to be true. Look at my parabola. Is it opening up or down?
Down.
Down. If it's opening down, what is my domain?
All reals.
All reals. We can plug in anything for x, right? Any number for x and we'll still get an answer. Okay, what about my range? Range is always going to deal with the y value, so we're just going to automatically put a y there. Now it's opening down, so it's going to be less than or equal to what?
0.
To 0. We're looking at the y value here. That would be our answer. Let's graph it just to check. So we already know our vertex.
Wait, Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Why is it up?
So let's graph it. I know my vertex is at -3, 0. So 1, 2, 3, 0. Let me label it -3, 0. My line of symmetry goes straight through that vertex. So that's going to be x equals -3. And then this one is opening downwards. Is it skinny or wide? Skinny, so let's draw a skinny parabola. And then this is what I'm talking about. Am I ever going to have a y value greater than 0?
No.
Nope, so all y values have to be less than or equal to 0. So if our A is negative, range is less than or equal to. If our A is positive, like in example 1, range is greater than or equal to. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so yeah. Example 3 for this stuff. We are not in vertex form this time. We actually have to do some work. So we are in standard form, but they gave us a hint. We need to find the vertex. So let's find the vertex first. What's my first step in finding the vertex? Have to solve for x. X equals what? Negative b over 2a. What is b in this case? Positive 20 over 2 times negative 2. So that gives me negative 20 over negative 4. So what does x equal?
5.
Positive 5. So in my vertex, write it off to the side. My vertex, which I know has to be a point, I already know the x value, right? It's 5, so I'm going to fill it in right now. Okay, how do I solve for the y value? Plug 5 in. So we have negative 2 times 5 squared plus 20 times 5 minus 5. So that equals negative 2 times 25 plus 100 minus 5. So that equals negative 50 plus 100 minus 5. 50 minus 5, 45. So let's see if we can hypothesize the domain and range without graphing. Is everybody okay with how we got x and y?
Yeah.
Okay. So domain, what would domain be? All reals. For now. Because we're only working with ones that open up or down. What about the range? Range has to do with which value, x or y? Y, so we know we're going to use y. Is my parabola opening upwards or downwards? Downwards, so am I looking for y is less than or greater than? Less than or equal to what? 45. And we did all of that without actually graphing it. Really quickly, I will draw the graph for you. Okay. I have to change my scales here, so I'm going to go by, what did I go by, 5s? Well, let's go by 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, and then up here, let's go by 5s. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Okay, so my vertex is at 5, 45. So it's right here. We're opening, here's my line of symmetry. At x equals 5. And I am going downwards, and I'm a skinny parabola, so a skinny parabola going down. Okay, so let's check at it. Is my vertex all real numbers? I'm going forever and ever and ever in the x direction. What about my range? Y is less than 45. Yes? Yep. So we can do it all without graphing now.